Okay, so now I am going to go and read to you some more Bible because I can see they're not using even estimation, they're using compensation. And they say they're going to compensate for it later. As you can see, that the situation would be kind of like, I don't know, after I watched some of the Sims overload from what actually happened on Facebook, see, they were very, very, how do I explain it? The social media sites like MySpace, Facebook were kind of very, very much like small hinted innuendos that didn't tell you exactly what it was. Like, it really was like one of those things that were like kind of like edging its way up in a sort of way. So I tell everyone that I love them, even X filters, whatever, people and stuff like that. And then you had kind of like the cartoon area, which the only one I was like, the hospitals are gonna fucking close. Like, that's the one off of Family Guy that really happens. Why does it happen? Because you can't make up for it later. Really, you can't pay it out like as if it was all, you know, an inventive Chromebook idea to do. So now I'm going to read to you something about this. This is ecclesiastical, and when it says something about being wise, and this is something that's typical of human thought. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but a fool walketh in darkness, and I myself perceive all that one event happeneth to them. So there's kind of like this area where they kind of have to be like, make an event, a satisfying event, I guess. Anyways, as for the other things, like using the Michael one and stuff like that, the fourth one, the last gram, and this would be like somebody who speaks English, of course, got bad. The ones that I knew weren't bad. So you have to avoid that one, and that one was actually older. And they basically did grams on the grandma side, but it'd be actually the grandfather, so it'd be like the grandfather. So then you had this kind of slow writing transgenderism. If you saw people cry and stuff like that, it's because it's really not funny. It's so slow, and then it's sort of like I said, a fool believes one event happens to them all, and it's an event that they try to force, you know, transgenderism or something like that. Now that that's behind about it, the fourth Daniel had that situation, not the ones that I particularly really knew, but the fourth one was really bad, and that one didn't come from our country. And this is why I said, you know, if you want to help that area, you remind them that it was around the Leviathan. I don't care if you say, it doesn't really matter, as long as you don't do east, north, south, and west, and say that it came really, really out of the east. This is where you start getting Japan and stuff like that, or south, because it would be opposite in their head too, southwest Mexico. And the Mayan one's actually on the other side, but because the directionalism of it is far off, it's not really something you can say. And that's really presented in, like, I've seen a couple of them on there, and they have the slow, they're like, you know, people were doing the lizard thing and talking about lizard people. Well, if you actually look at some of these things that kind of like a horrible a bad temple or something, like where they did something absolutely horrible, but they kind of made it like spontaneous, like an event to an innocent person or a person not knowing yet. So then they become these kind of like monstrosities, if you want to call them, like sort of like they have in their mind that if they don't do it, it won't happen or something like that. And it's not like I consider them all like monstrosities or something like that, whatever. But they usually try to do like the infrared blue eye, but it really you could see the light brown on the side, and they keep pushing it, and most of the times it's rolling fives in the church at Thyatira, so you got to go back to at least third. I don't know, like you got to avoid that one then. The Michaels, you got to go back to the third, and then I think they put it in there that it's something about 666 is 3 scores 6, and what they did to these people was just fucking retarded. Anyways, 3 scores 6, blah 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 blah. Then the one and one, it's times and times and a half, so they literally hit that area of like half. And you know, like you saw, I can give an example of it. A good example would be like, you know, like you wonder like why were they so obsessed with Beetlejuice and stuff like that. Okay, so then there's two other things that happen that's kind of supposedly like an Allah thing or I believe in God thing, blah 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 blah. They do DyiALAsis, which they keep dyeing somebody that's supposed to be like a sister. They dye them, like, you know, like they start turning like different colors, or like they go from like, maybe if they're white, they'll go from like Asian to black and then something else, Hispanic, or like if they're Hispanic, they'll go from like that all the way to who knows, to black or Asian or something like that. And they just keep doing DyiALAsis, which the other one that has like Genesis sister type thing, the only like the best one that I could say about that one is people were all spouting bananas and stuff like that and talking about that kind of stuff. Well, the fruit thing starts going down big time because you're considering something kind of fruit, or society is doing that. Now remember that it said score in there, but what if it really doesn't say score? Like it's not a game. Okay, so then you'll see tons of commercials that seem to go on and on like as if life is normal. That's going to be really creepy. To me, that is fucking creepy because 9/11 had the creepiest fucking commercials on it. And now, like, if it's like constant 9/11 or constant going this way, you're just going to watch commercials like sell your home, get life insurance. Like, why? What the hell are you, like, are you, okay. Anyways, that's what it is. So that's yeah. The other one, it would be actually closer to, if it was to settle, it would be like a Gena Davis thing where they were trying to build a house and then something went so wrong. The banana, the deo, oh, horrible. And it's probably based off of somebody who was following what they call Gena Tail Lia. And then they got into Star Wars and they were playing Princess Leia, but it's Leia, right? It's biblically termed as Leia. And now they're following Gena Tail Lia. And then you see them go really weird. They're like, these are the drug addicts dying and stuff like that. I'm going to clean up the bodies and stuff like that. And sometimes they're really not really doing that. And like then the Genesis sister like stops wondering what their brother is doing or what they claim that is their brother is doing. They stop literally watching what they're doing. But the closest one would be a Gena Davis type situation that happened on. And the other one can settle too, but it has to stop eventually doing DyiALAsis. Keep dyeing your Allah sister. Dye in her white, dye in her black, and then the rest of these, like the fourth corner ones, like Michael, Daniel, they don't set off as much unless they're on complete vanity or vexation of their spirit. And sometimes it's mostly vexing the spirit to try to make you give up. The other one is where like it's house thing, and they did because they're going to say, because they did middle eight somehow, Baltasaring. That's why I said they're doing compensation, not estimation. They're not even estimating really properly. And how many times did we see a bunch of things, even before coronavirus, that weren't, there's no freaking way their estimation was on. They were just spewing news for no reason. Like, it was just like, what are you talking about? Okay, so, the other one is where, like, so, for example, gay would be my mom's middle name, so they're trying to say that somebody has a gay relationship with their child. That's probably not a good thing to do. So then if you follow the Betty Boop one, which is okay, it's okay, Betty Boop is alright. What you really have to do to get over that one is that remind people that a hillbilly on his wife is not a good thing, but you don't, it's not like take away his real actual wife, if you want to call it. Does that make sense? Like, okay, they interpret it as always abusive, but even if they're not there and they're making intangible relationships, then you're not really there with the person. But then regular people walking around that they suspected being like hillbillies tied to the trees, they were trying to take away their wives as if they were wife beaters. So this is the old, I still have a Vietnam code from that, but like, not like, it is totally not what the war was about. Like, they totally offshot that war to play it off. But anyways, I hope that crow turns into a fucking eagle and just disappears. Like, shut up already. Okay, so now for the next one. Yeah, your sundown kids, because apparently one of the temples of the dog things, like I do when I think of subliminals, I think of, I don't ever want to see red forced to be behind the temple of the dog. But the other one was, you know, where like they do like I don't know, it's like a shadow figure. It was like in Twilight when they were talking to her, there was a painting of a shadow figure of a man. You can go do your hair and all that kind of stuff, and it probably has nothing to do with Temple of the Dog. Changing your identity, changing your hair, have to change your hair. You can do your hair any kind of way. Like, I'm going to do my hair curly eventually, but I have to get past forcing it either to be something that's only about covering up a style or making a style. I have to get past that, I guess. So then this is weird because this is the guy ones. These were referred as supposedly the sundown kids. Potassium ones, and then the princess ones aren't covered in sugar. And then these guys on say they're on diabetes, like, are totally sour and being sour inside, but they say they're covered in, that they have they're diabetics. Well, theirs is covered in sugar. That's weird. The princess ones aren't covered in sugar. Weirdos. Anyways, the other vitamin clues about like how they kind of messed up the Hasham one, if you want to call it. Sundown kid vitamins, good day things, but energy supplements, and they're moons. They're all moons. And this one the one that's turmeric mixture? This one is for your DyiALAsis sister. This one is coca. What's the other one? And the other one is the turmeric. This is the lighter one. What is this one? Is this the one with the turmeric in it? I don't mix the two ever. Yeah, this one's the turmeric one. And these are made from pearl boulders because eventually they can't do it anymore. So how do you avoid that? And all the guys don't do gaming. Well, number one, you're supposed to send the nicks of the same age group, but not of the same family, to them first. And they won't crave that stuff. They won't. But they started sending people really, really as far. Like, I like Ariana Grande, but they did a Manchester one all the way over. But she was a Nick girl. Like, why would you send her all the way, like, to do the Nick concert or something like that? Like, she's definitely probably too young to send them out, if you want to call it. But Nicks are always supposed to show up first. They really kind of ride them down, and then they settle on their antebellum girl that shows up afterwards. Some of them are rare, where they really are going to be like one of those assholes that moved to the Middle East and just like, I like to computer stalk everyone, or sometimes an island. Some of them are really actually like that, but like, and they'll never, ever, ever do it. But like, just some of them are completely ruined, and sometimes it's because of a volcano. Like, if there's going to be like a volcano or whatever, they would try, but they'll kind of like spin them off. Just live with their antebellum girl, one that doesn't make them feel like a fucking baby. Okay, and their Nick shows up afterwards, who's more of like a girl who's the free spirited girl, or whatever. But they totally took a lot of my stuff away, and that's in, like, as far back as whatever you'll call it, Stevie Nicks. Purple Camaro, Prince sang it, and then helped her with When They're Gone. It sounds like doves crying. But then he did it up song. Okay, so this is all Bible. I was trying to be major about the fourth corner Daniel thing that they did. There's like some video of like where they were like doing ranchero churches or something like that, and scaring the shit out of people, like just absolutely tormenting them. Like, a fool believes one event happens to all, and they literally start doing these things to people, and they're fucked up. They get fucked up afterwards too, and it's just sad. So to never hollow out the heart, or make the heart as completely hollow as possible, so that they start running, like, I don't know, heart games. My grandpa died on a heart game, by the way. Out to people. That's one way to avoid it. So, I'm going to do the next one, which is just about planting and being practical again. Because you're watching a lot of plasma give off, and only a few of them who've seen some things from hell are actually giving away things that help you understand. Like Jake's, it's like a flattened centipede. Then he was cleaning out the shrimp, to the guys that are following Gena Tail Lia and the other ones that are on the cusp of DyiALAsis. It's these like flattened, the world is flat centipedes, like a squished centipede, and a male, also like a small fake baby male, attaches there, and also it's a flat centipede. Gross. So if you talk to Russia, just say, a flat centipede? The world is flat. What the fuck is that? Okay, so anyways, my other boyfriend, when I was little, was Jake. A little boy named Jake, and he gave me a pink diamond. A fake. Well, no, actually, it was real. Probably realer than the stuff you're getting now, since everything's gone fake. Yeah. So, bye.